Hello everyone, in this video we are going to learn inequalities. It is a very small topic in O-level or IGCSE Mathematics D, but it is also a topic where many of our exam candidates mess up. So hopefully in this video I can clear your confusions with inequalities and also teach you how you can ace all your inequality questions in your upcoming exams. Okay, now inequalities are very similar to equations. Let's say we have an equation that is 2x is equals to 8. Now the only difference between equation and inequality is that we just use different signs instead of our equal sign. Okay, so in inequalities we use the first sign is uh, less than, the second sign we use is greater than, the third sign is less than equals, and the fourth sign we use is greater than equals. So basically these are the two main types, less than and equals, and these are the same signs. They almost have the same function, but they just have an equal sign added to them, and I'm going to tell you guys the difference between these two signs. So now let us recap the functions of each of the sign. So let's say we have two terms a and b. They both represent a number, let's say 2, 4, 5, anything. Now in equations what we would have done is that we would put equal sign, but in inequality we put different signs. So let us start with our first sign, which is less than. So this sign means that if this sign is put between two terms, it means that a, our this term a, is less than our term b. So the valid examples are 2 and 4. We know that 2 is less than 4. Let's say 10 is less than 11. Half is less than 1, like that. And it would be invalid if you have written 3 is less than 2. This is invalid because we know that 3 comes after 2. Now the number line is very related with inequalities, which we are soon going to cover. And let me remove the examples and show you guys the functionalities of the remaining signs. So the next sign is greater than sign. So again, if you have two terms and the greater than sign is between the two terms, that means our term a is greater than our term b. So the valid examples are 4 is greater than 1, 1 is greater than 0, and all that. And you can also add variables just like an equation. Like I already have said that equation and inequalities are almost the same thing, but the key difference is that you just use inequality signs. Like these are the four inequality signs instead of the equal sign. So you could have also written 2x is greater than, let's say, 5, and maybe the question can come to find the valid solutions of x. And if you guys don't know how to do that, we are soon going to uh, walk you through that, because we are going to practice some examples and also explain in the meantime. And now these two are the main signs, and these are just some extended version of the respective signs. For that I can show you guys with an example. Let's say you have a variable x and it says that x is less than 5. Now the question says that x is a positive integer and you have to find the possible set of values of x. So if you want to find a solution, that would be all the positive set of values of x. So this is my set, and the possible solutions of x are going to be 1. Oh, by the way, one more very important thing to say is that 0 is not a positive number. It is also not a negative number. 0 is just an integer. Okay, so our possible solutions for x would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Now be careful. Our inequality sign, which is less than, states that x is less than 5. So that means that 5 is not part of the solution. Now you guys can understand the difference between our less than sign and less than equal to sign. So if you had x is less than equals to 5 and same constrictions, that is x is a positive integer, and if you are told to find the possible set of solution of x, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now as you can see, the key difference is that in this expression it does not include 5. This expression says that the possible set of solution of x will be less than 5 but not 5. But if you add less than equals to, that means that the possible set of values of x will be all the numbers less than 5 along with the constriction, obviously positive integer, and it will also include 5 because it says, okay, so if you break it down, let me explain to you like this. If you break it down, it would be x is less than 5 and x is also equals to 5. So yeah, that is the key difference between our sign, these two signs, and our these two signs. Okay, so this was a very short recap of our inequality signs, and now we are going to see how number line is related with inequalities. Now, first of all, if you guys are not aware what a number line is, it is just a line where you put numbers. You start with 0 at the middle, then you have 1 on the right, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on all the positive integers. The right side is positive and the left side is negative, -2, -3, and by the way all the gaps are equidistant, -4, and this is the negative side. The left is negative. Okay, let me just write it so that you guys do not forget. The left is negative and the right is always positive. Let's say we have the expression x is greater than 2. Now the question is, how do you represent this on the number line? And number lines are a very common question in your both O-level and IGCSE question papers. And let me use a different brush so that you guys can understand it better. So if you wanted to represent it on the number line, you first of all circle the point on the number line and then draw a line based on the inequality sign. Now the inequality sign said that the possible solutions of x will be any number that is greater than 2. So you will shade the number line that is on the right of your point. Now if the question was, let's say x is, okay, let me just erase this. Now if the question was, let's say x is greater than, okay, instead of using greater, let me show you guys this time with less than sign. So if x is less than let's say again 2, then if you wanted to represent it on a number line, you will again just like before circle the point on the number line and then all the possible solutions of x will be any number that is on the left of our point in the number line, and less than 2 means any number that is less than 2. Okay, so that is how you represent in the number line. Now you might be asking, what do we do for our these two signs? So there is a universal rule that you use while showing these inequalities on the number line. So first of all, just like before, we will just recap the how we represent our expression with a greater than sign or less than sign. So for that, you just put a circle on the point in the on the number line and just shade the region based on the inequality sign. So let's say if it was x is greater than 5, then you would find 5 on the number line and then just x is greater, so that means you will shade the right part of the number line. And then if it was x is less than 5, then you would just circle. By the way, this is a circle. You circle like this. Do not circle like you circle and shade. Do not do that. This is wrong. Okay, wrong. For wrong I use red. This is absolutely wrong. The correct one is that you just circle with a hollow in between. So use a hollow circle or empty circle. Okay, just like I was explaining, if x is less than 5, then you just circle the point, hollow circle, and then just shade the point that is on the left of your point. For our these signs less than equals and greater than equals, we have a different method. Now, as I've told you that we use these circles to represent our normal inequality signs. But for these signs which has got equal in it, we use the hollow circle, this one. So let's say this is 3, and the expression tells us that x is greater than 3. Oh, sorry, greater equals to 3. So first of all, you will have to mark the point 3 and with a dot, not really a circle, and it should not be hollow, it should be entirely filled. And then as it said that all the possible values of x will be greater than 3, so you will just shade the right side of the number line. And then if you are told to shade x is less than equals to minus 2, minus 2 could be here, minus 2. So again, just like 3, you will put a dot here and make sure that it is big enough for the examiners to see, and then just shade the part on the left of the number line which goes towards negative. So yeah, that is the key difference or how you represent the inequality signs on a number line. Now there's also another way in which the question can tell you to show it on the number line. I'm going to show you guys right now. So that can be, you might get a question that x is greater than minus 2, but x is also less than 5. So to solve this, and the question is that it tells us to represent x on the number line. So just like before, we will draw a number line with 0 at the center, and on the right we will have all the positive values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on the left we can have all the negative values minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, and all that. So if it tells us to represent on the number line, okay, wait, let me also make it a little harder. Let's say, okay, x is greater than minus 2 but less than and equals to minus 5, and yeah, so you can also use this equals to sign in the expression. So to solve this, let us first of all mark our points on the number line. So the first point is minus 2. For that we will put a hollow circle on our point which is minus 2, and then it tells us that x is less than equals to 5, so I will put a dot on 5 and make sure that the dot is filled. Now I just have to shade the region of the number line in between our 2 points, and make sure the key difference is that you have to make sure that you mark the points correctly, either with a hollow circle or with a dot based on your inequality sign in the question. So that is how you represent it on the number line. And there is also another part where you represent inequalities in a graph. Inequalities in graph. So this is another theory part of inequalities that we are going to discuss in our follow-up video. So yes, stay tuned with me so that you guys can also cover that topic. And if I have already uploaded that video, I will make sure that you guys get the link in the description. And basically this was our theory part of inequality, and now we can solve some questions. So to test how much we have learned in this video. So for you guys to understand, so like remember, I am keeping this inequality signs here. So let us start solving from example 24.2, and by the way, I am using the Harder Education second Edition Mathematics Day book. You guys can follow any book. The contents are almost the same. Like the sums can be different, but the difficulty level and the things you cover in each book is the same. It just have to be verified by Cambridge. That's it. So the question tells us to solve each of the inequalities and show the solution on the number line. Let me enable draw here. So let us solve A and let us also solve C. Okay, so let me just copy the question. The question told us to first find a solution for x or the range of solutions for x. And by the way, in inequalities, we don't say the solution, we say the range of solutions, because the solution of like the answer we get from inequality is that there can be multiple solutions of x less than this or greater than this. So basically that is like a range. So to solve this, and by the way, as I have said earlier, inequality is just another upgraded version of equations. So you can treat everything just like equations. Oh, and another very important thing I forgot to mention earlier is that the inequality sign can flip. So you also have to remember sign flips. So when do the signs change? Let's learn it with an example. Let's say you have 2 is greater than 1. Now, if you multiply both sides with -1, you get -2 and -1. Now, as you have seen before, we had 2 is greater than 1, which is true. But it is not true that -2 is greater than -1. Because in the number line, if you have 0 here, -1, -2. As you can see, 2 comes before 1. But on the right side, you can see, sorry, -2 comes before -1. And on the right side you can see that 1 comes before 2. So this one is correct, but this expression will become correct only if you flip the inequality sign. Now this is true, -2 is less than 1. So the first thing is that whenever you multiply both sides with negative sign, the inequality sign will flip. And another case which many people actually don't know, I also learned that before giving my O-level IGCSE exam. So that is, okay, let us use the previous example again. So that is if you reciprocal both sides of the equation. So it is, as you can see, it is true that 2 is greater than 1. And now if I reciprocal both of them, half, and this becomes a 1 by 1, which is actually equals to 1. And you know that half is actually less than 1, so the sign flips, as you can see. So when do the sign flips? Multiplying both the terms by negative sign and reciprocally. Yeah, so these are the things you have to remember. And let me also clear some spaces so that we can complete our example. Now if I subtract 4 from both the sides, we get 3x is less than 6, and if I divide both sides with -3, it will just be x is less than 2. So yeah, and also the question told us to represent our solution on the number line. So let me draw a number line with 0 in the center, and it said if you have 1 here and if you have 2 here, x is less than 1. So I can also plot -1, -2, -3. Also in your exam, this is an exam tip, do not really waste that much time drawing the number line till like 10, 12, just to like near to your expression value. You just have to draw the number line near to your value, that's it. So the question, the expression tells us that x is less than 2. And by the way, be careful of the sign. If this was x is less than equals to 2, then we would have used the dot, but as it is x is less than 2, we use the hollow circle and then shade the part left of it as it is a less than sign. So yeah, let us check the solution if it was correct. The solution, yeah, x is less than 2, and as you can see, they use the hollow circle and the line is on the left of our point, and yeah, that's it. So our answer is correct. Now let us solve for our example number C. It says that x plus 4 is less than 3x minus 2. Okay, so here I got the question and let us try to solve. And also you guys can pause the video and try it yourself, and I will give you and check it with my solution. So if I had, okay, so what I can do is that I can subtract 4 from both the sides, so it will be x is less than 3x minus 6, and then I can subtract minus 3 from both the sides. It can be x minus 3x is less than minus 6. So if I just evaluate this, it becomes 2x is less than minus 6. Oh, oops, it is minus 2x is less than minus 6. And now we are going to use sign flip. So if I multiply both sides with minus 1, so we get 2x and 6. And as you remember, if you multiply both sides with minus, like any negative number, or divide both sides with any negative number, the inequality sign flips. So it will be 2x is greater than 6, so x is greater than 3. Now if we try to represent it on the number line, if you have 0 here, 1, 2, 3, and so on, and here you have minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, and so on. The question tells us that x is less than 3, not less than equals. So we are again going to use just our normal circle, hollow circle, to figure out what our point is, which is 3, and greater than. So I will have to shade the number line on the right of our point. So yeah, let us check our solution. I hope it's correct. And I also hope that you guys were able to find the solution by yourself. Okay, so x is greater than 3, and we have the hollow circle here, and the number line is shaded on the right. So yeah, it is correct. Now let us see. Oh, okay, I found it. Now we can also solve expressions like this where they contain two inequality signs. Okay, so let us solve this inequality. For this type of inequalities, there is a method. You can't really just solve both the inequalities together. You have to divide the inequalities into parts. Now, as you can see, as I have told earlier, that I'm going to explain to you guys different ways to solve inequalities as we solve problems. So after I complete a theory, don't just finish it. Theory is a small part, but in mathematics, after completing the theory, there are a lot of tricks and new things that you learn while solving the examples and problems. So I tell you guys to follow the video completely and thoroughly so that you do not miss anything. Okay, so what you do is that you divide this equation into two parts. The first part becomes 5 minus 2x minus 1, and the second part becomes 2x minus 1 less than equals to 10. So the first part is this, and the second part is just this. So that is how we solve. Now we are independently going to solve each of them. So in our first expression, if I subtract 5 from both, okay, no, if I add 1 to both sides, it becomes 6 is less than 2x, and this becomes 3 is less than x if I divide both sides with minus 2. And yeah, if I have divided both sides with minus 2, the inequality sign would have flipped, but that was not our correct solution. So we have 2x minus 1 is less than equals to 10. If I add 1 to both sides, it becomes 2x is less than equals to 11. And then if I divide it with 2, that becomes x is less than equals to 5.5. 11 by 2 is 5.5. Now question also told us to represent it on the number line. So 0 is at the center. And on the right, we got all the positive numbers, 3, 4, 5. And we also have 5.5, so it goes 6 and 7. Yeah, I stop at 7. And then on the left side, we have all the negative signs, which is, oops, why did I write minus 7? It was minus 1, here we have minus 2, here we have minus 3, and so on, minus 4. Yeah, that's enough. So if we want to represent this on the number line, so before that I actually did not complete this part. So the answer, the final expression in the question, the two expressions were combined, right? But while in the processing we divided this huge expression into two parts for easier calculations, but in the answer you cannot give like this. You have to combine these two solutions and give a final equation. In this case it is x is less than 3, sorry, x is greater than 3 and less than equals to 5.5. Now let me draw it on the number line. Oh, by the way, for drawing it on the number line, I prefer you to follow this expression. We are not drawing these expressions, we are drawing this expression, the final expression that we get after the processing. Okay, so first of all, what we do is that we denote the points O. And by the way, I have made a bad habit that you should not do in your exams, is that in a number line I absolutely do not need the negative part here, right? As you can see, x is greater than 3 and less than 5.5, but I wasted a lot of time drawing the negative side. So please do not do that in your exam. Don't waste your time. In exams, time is very important. Okay, so as this is greater than sign, I just use a normal circle, and this is less than equal, so I use a dot which is filled, and I just shade the region in between. So yeah, this is how I can represent this expression in the number line. So let us see if our solution is correct. This is the solution. Yes, our solution is absolutely correct, and our number line is also correct. So yeah, I hope you guys were able to follow the video. Please like and subscribe if you think this was helpful. See you guys in the next video. And if I have already uploaded the graphical inequality video, you guys can check it in the description, and you can also get it on the end page. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. That's all for today.